Today we'll take up the topic of demand from the subject of business economics. So let's start with the topic. We'll start first of all with the meaning of demand. What do you mean by demand? Demand basically means those various quantities of a given commodity which a consumer will purchase in the market at the certain time and price. It basically means when a consumer A will buy 5 units of commodity X at rupees 5, then it is the demand for that particular commodity by that particular consumer. Now let's move to the elements of demand. There are five major elements of demand. First is desire. The first and foremost element of demand is desire. The consumer should have the desire to buy a commodity. If the consumer will have no desire to buy a commodity, then demand cannot exist. Then the second element of demand is willingness to part with money. If a consumer wants to buy a dress but he does not want to spend money on buying of the dress, then he can't actually buy dress. So there has to be willingness to part with money. Then the third element of demand is given price. The consumer should purchase the commodity at the price given to him and also at that particular time period. So the fourth element of demand is given time period. The consumer has to buy the particular commodity at the given time period. Then the fifth element of demand is sufficient means to buy the goods. The fifth element is sufficient means to buy the good. The consumer should have resources to buy the goods. Just having the desire to purchase a commodity won't help until and unless the consumer have sufficient funds or sufficient means to purchase that particular commodity or good. Then the next we'll study factors affecting demand. The first factor which affects demand is price of the commodity. Price and demand of the commodity have inverse relationship, which means demand of the commodity increases on the decrease in the price and it will decrease on the increase in price. It's a very psychological fact that a consumer will always purchase a commodity which is cheap. You will never purchase a commodity which is expensive. If you are given two commodities at price 10 and at price 12, you will always purchase the commodity given at price 10. So price and demand of the commodity have inverse relationship, which means when the price of a commodity will decrease, the demand of that particular commodity will increase, and when the price will increase for that particular commodity, the demand will automatically fall down. Then the next factor is taste, habits, and fashions of the consumer. The good of which the consumer is habitual, the demand for that good will increase, and the demand of a commodity of which the consumer is not habitual, the demand for that commodity will decrease. For example, if a consumer is habitual of using a particular kind of a perfume, then that consumer will always buy that perfume because he is habitual of that particular perfume. So the demand varies with the taste, habits, and fashions. Then the third is income. Income of the consumer and demand of the consumer are positively related, which means if the income of the consumer will increase, the demand of the consumer will automatically increase. Supposingly, a customer was earning rupees 10 initially, and then his income increases by rupees 2 and the income becomes rupees 12, then automatically his demand will increase because now he has margin of rupees 2 extra as compared to the earlier time. Then the next set is change in population. If the population grows fast, the child ratio will be high and hence the demand for the commodities like milk, toffees, etc. will be high. So we see if the population will increase, the child ratio will be high, and that is why the goods that are demanded by children will be in a higher demand, like milk, toffees. And on the contrary, if the population growth is slow and the ratio of old people are more, then the goods that are demanded by old people, that is spectacles, medicines, will be in high demand. The next is price related goods. Under this head, we'll study two types of goods, substitute goods and complementary goods. Now, first have a look of meaning of substitute goods. What do you mean by substitute goods? Substitute goods which can be used in place of each other like tea or coffee. If you want to drink tea one day and the other day you don't feel like drinking tea, then you can switch on to coffee because they are substitute goods. Then the next is meaning of complementary goods. What do you mean by complementary goods? Goods which are used together by the consumer are known as complementary goods, like ink and pen. You can't use ink alone and you can't use pen alone. You have to use them together for making it of any use. Then the next is we'll study the changes in price of substitute goods. The relationship between the demand of one substitute good and the price of other substitute good is positive. Let's have a look at the graph. See, on y-axis we are showing price of coffee, and on x-axis we are showing demand of tea. So if we see, if the price of a substitute good, supposingly that is coffee, increases, then the demand for given commodity, which is tea, will rise, as tea will relatively become cheaper in comparison to coffee. Obviously, if one day I find coffee to be expensive, I can substitute it with tea. And so I will move on to tea and I will substitute coffee in place of tea, because now tea is much more cheaper as compared to coffee. So the relationship between the demand of one substitute good and the price of other substitute good is positive, which means when the price of coffee increases, the demand of tea also increases. Now we'll see the changes in price of complementary goods. The relationship between the demand of one complementary good and the price of other complementary good is negative. Supposingly, we take on x-axis demand for car and we take on y-axis price of petrol. If the price of petrols increases, then automatically we'll curtail the demand of car, because now price of petrol has increased and so it has become expensive, and so we'll automatically need or use less cars. So the relationship between two complementary goods is negative, which means when the price of one complementary good increases, the demand of other complementary good decreases. Now we'll take up the topics of individual demand and market demand. What do you mean by individual demand? It is basically the demand for a commodity from the individual point of view. That quantity of a good a consumer would buy at given price during a given period of time is his individual demand. So basically, when we talk about individual demand, we talk about demand of a commodity by a individual customer. Supposingly, when we talk at price 5, what would be the demand of consumer A for commodity supposingly Y? Then we'll study individual demand. But when we see the demand for a commodity for a lot of people, supposingly we see the demand of commodity X for consumer A, B and C, then it will be market demand, because it shows the demand of various buyers together. So market demand refers to a demand of all buyers taken together. Now we'll take up a last topic of today's session, that is law of demand. What do you mean by law of demand? Law of demand is basically the tendency of consumer behavior in demanding a commodity in relation to the changes in its price. It states that a consumer demands more of goods at a lower price and vice versa, other things being constant. It basically means when other things remain constant, that are the income of the consumer, price of the commodity, price of related goods, all these remain constant, and a consumer demands more of a good at a lower price, it is law of demand. In simple terms, law of demand states that when the price goes up, the quantity demanded goes down, and when the price goes down, the quantity demanded goes up, which means when a commodity will become cheap, it will be demanded more, while when a commodity will become expensive, it will be demanded less. So now see, this is an illustration of law of demand. Price of wheat per kg 54321, which means the price is decreasing, so automatically the demand will increase, that is 10 kgs at rupees 5, 20 kgs at rupees 4, and so till 50 kgs at rupees 1. We see that we have actually bought the highest quantity or demanded the highest quantity at the lowest prices. So this is the demand curve. On x-axis, we'll show quantity demanded. On y-axis, we'll show price per unit. You see that the price of the commodity and the quantity demanded of the commodity has inverse relationship. This is the price of the commodity PA, and this is the quantity of the good, that is QA. And the demand curve is downward sloping, which shows the relationship between the two elements shown on x and y axis is inverse. We'll summarize it. We'll summarize it in the form of demand function. So what do you mean by demand function? Demand function is the functional relationship between demand and its various determinants. Now, what are the various determinants. These are the price, that stands for P, Y, that is income of the consumer, T, that is taste and preference, PS, that is price of substitute goods, U, consumers' expectations and others, and this is known as demand function. So with this, we conclude this session and we'll discuss further details of the topic in the next session. Thank you so much.